And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. Thursday, January 22nd. Moving through this month pretty quick. We got a 6-game slate ahead of us today. 3 games locking at 7, 1 at 7:30, 1 at 8, 1 at 9. We also have 2 10 o'clock games a bit later. Wish they included them, but alas, they did not. Hope you were able to find some success last night. Almost snuck to the top of the mini-max. I think I finished like 14th or something. We'll take a peek in a second. It's a fun slate. Also missed out on a 6 of 6 on Prize Picks thanks to Jalen Johnson. 5 down, needed 1.5 stocks out of Jalen Johnson. CJ McCollum got it. Onyeka Okongwu got it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker got it. Luke Kennard got it. Christian Koloko did it in 11 minutes. Unfortunately, Jalen Johnson did not. So instead of $1,000, I won $80. The worst. But yet, we're here again, moving it forward. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter and on Tails. You're looking for at Josh Engleman. Link to Tails in the description. We got a hell of a turd of a slate ahead of us in terms of talent. The most expensive guy on today's slate is Tyrese Maxey at 10K. Every other player is sub 10K. Mr. Hill. Josh, thanks for the Prize Picks. I left Johnson out and hit 5 of 5. Yeah, I wish I did that. It would have been nice. It would have been nice. Oh well, what are you going to do? Glad that you did it. Somebody else tweeted it at me. They took Jalen Johnson to get a steal, so they won it. I, on the other hand, was too stupid for that. So from a pay-up perspective today, we've got Jamal Murray at 9,800 with Joval potentially back. Wemby at 9,700 against the Jazz. Who the hell knows? You got Ant against the Bulls at 9,500 looking super sneaky. Şengün gets the Sixers. Banchero gets the Hornets on a back-to-back after whatever the hell it is that happened to the Hornets last night. You've got Embiid at 9,200, and then finally Steph Curry at 9K. All those dudes are probable or in. So no Q tags waiting out there on any of the major pay-up options for today. We've got a lot to break down. This will be fun. The Hornets were not great yesterday. What was that final number? I want to make sure I get it right. LaMelo Ball, 1 of 15 from the field, 0 for 10 from 3, 2 points, 5 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 2 turnovers. What a preposterous game from LaMelo Ball. 1 for 15. It makes 8 of 20 for Brandon Miller look decent. They were 3 for 21 combined from 3 last night. Ay. By the way, Con Knipple, 2 for 10. They were 8 of 47. Which is incredible because the Cavs were also 8 of 40 from 3. Didn't matter. Gross game. Very, very, very gross game. Yuck. Let's see. Where did I actually finish in the mini-max last night? I think it was 14th. Thought I had a shot. I got 2 in the top 100. I'll take that all day, every day. We don't have actuals in there. Shit. Oh, well. I'll look it up on my phone. Because I figure if you guys are watching this show, you're curious. I think it was like 14th and 80th. 14th and 42nd, actually. 2 in the top 42. Take what we can get. Alrighty. Let's take a walk through the injury report for right now, set the table for what we know we have to look at for the rest of the day. 7 o'clock opener, Hornets Magic. Lots of stuff that we need to pay attention to for this one. Hornets on the back-to-back after everything we just said yesterday, so who knows? My assumption is that Grant Williams doesn't play today. After that, who the hell knows? But I don't think Grant Williams will play the back-to-back. They probably just give those minutes to Salon. LaMelo probably starts, but like, who the hell knows after yesterday's turd? We also have news on the Orlando Magic side. Jalen Suggs is questionable for Orlando. I mean, that's good for Orlando winning. It is not good for us wanting to play people from Orlando. If Jalen Suggs is in, it becomes very difficult to want to get Suggs, Banchero, Franz, Bane, anything here, really. So tough 7 o'clock game, but realistically, I want as many people in for Charlotte, and I want Jalen Suggs to be in for Orlando, so it makes it even easier to ignore this first game. I would also like to ignore this second game if given the opportunity. Houston Rockets, Philadelphia 76ers, Sixers 1.5 point dogs at home, 220 total. Tari Eason back, Aaron Holiday questionable, not like it matters. Paul George questionable, I'm assuming you're used to that. He's been in and out lately. Embiid probable, Kelly Oubre available. So right now it's, if Paul George ends up in, we're going to get full strength Rockets. I mean, obviously Steven Adams is out, but like we know he's out. Essentially full strength Rockets against full strength Sixers. That's not a great DFS game. It's not like we've got great pricing on either side. And when these teams are at full strength, this is a Rockets highly defensive team. There's a low total. In fact, this is the lowest total on today's slate. So I look at this game. Now, obviously, Şengün, Durant, Embiid, Maxey. I don't mind getting good dudes like that early. But I don't really want much of this Houston-Philly game as we have it currently. We have one other 7 o'clock game. This one I'm going to assume we're going to get quite a bit. Nuggets-Wizards. Wizards 5.5 point dogs at home, 229 total. Still no Cam Johnson, still no Christian Brown, still no Jokic. Gordon in, Murray in, Hardaway in. Joval questionable. Now, I don't think that Joval is going to come in and play like real minutes. I would be shocked if he just like took the starting job and played real minutes. I figure they are slow here. You know, it's a calf strain on a monster of a human being. But even if he's back, that's, you know, minutes you don't have to play Zeke Naji or Deron Holmes, depending on the day. You don't have to play Aaron Gordon 30 minutes at center. So, and you also bring back a guy that is involved offensively. So there's a lot of question marks going on for Denver. And while I mentioned who they play, don't want to bury the lead. Playing the Wizards is as good as it gets from a DFS matchup. On the Wizards side, Trae Young's still out. AJ Johnson questionable, Bilal Coulibaly questionable, Chris Middleton questionable, Marvin Bagley questionable. We have absolutely no idea what we're doing with the Wizards here. We're talking about probably close to 100 minutes or maybe 80 minutes, whatever. Either way, a lot of minutes to the Wizards questionable. We're going to want something and probably a bunch of somethings in this game. This is the 7 o'clock game that I'm not going to have a problem getting a bunch of. Given the matchup and given where we're set up here, this will be a focus for the 7 o'clock games more so than the first two we saw. 7:30 game, Golden State and Dallas. Obviously, Butler out. Gary Payton questionable for the Warriors. They're a bit of a mess. For Dallas, obviously AD out. Gafford questionable. Musa Cisse questionable. Ryan Nembhard probable. So a little bit up in the air here, but nothing too crazy. 233 total, kind of appealing. I just don't know how you trust the Warriors unless you're getting to like Steph or Draymond, I guess. Chicago, Minnesota. Bulls, still no Zach Collins. Josh Giddey questionable. Now, we went through this last time out. He ended up not playing. Kind of feels like he'll play today, but at the very least, he's close. Patrick Williams also questionable. For Minnesota, everybody that's typically in is in. Awesome spot for Minnesota at home, getting the Bulls. Not a very good team. If Giddey's back, I would argue it's better for Minnesota. So think about that for a bit. And then finally, last game on the slate, San Antonio and Utah. This is going to be a mess all day. Still no Vassell for San Antonio. Sohan, Luke Cornett, both questionable. Obviously, Cornett, the only piece there that matters. For the Jazz side, Markkanen still out and apparently actually sick from everything that I've seen. But whatever. Bryce Sensabaugh, questionable. Keontae George, questionable. So the Jazz could be a real pain in the ass. Sensabaugh could be a nothing, or Sensabaugh could be a 30-minute dude today. Obviously, if Keontae George is in or out, it changes everything. So our late night hammer of the Utah Jazz is going to be a bit of a problem. Austin, FanDuel has one less game than DraftKings today? Are you serious? By the time you answer me, I'm probably going to have the answer for myself, but I can't help but ask that question out loud. Wow. FanDuel dropped the 9 o'clock. So DraftKings has the 5-gamer, the 6-gamer. FanDuel cut the 9 o'clock and only has a 5. Wow. That sucks. That's so much worse. For once, of the two sites, for once, DraftKings got it more right. Because I would want this. I mean, this is a game you want. This is a game you want. I mean, I would want the 10s because Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday, Robert Williams, and City Sissoko were all questionable. Kawhi, questionable for the Clippers. I wish we had all of those. But at least on DraftKings, we could use the Utah Jazz to make stuff look crazy. So, we don't have the most ridiculous injury report in the world, but we certainly have some places that we want to wait on and try to find out what's going on here. Now, we do have an early run of ownership that we could take a peek at. Victor Wembanyama at 9,700 is currently your most owned dude at 40%. Similarly, Steph Castle, also 40% owned. It's almost like playing the Utah Jazz makes everybody look better because Dylan Harper is 30% owned. Not surprising. Draymond, quite popular, 25 to 30% owned. Aaron Gordon is 30. Chris Middleton is 30% owned, and his minutes have been climbing. Bob Carrington's 30% owned. Brandon Miller is once again owned the same way that he was yesterday. And then you fall off into the 20s with everybody. I mean, Curry, 20% owned. Ant, 20% owned. Jamal Murray, 20% owned. Gets a little busy at the top when you're trying to sift through it all. Şengün getting slept on a bit. Embiid getting slept on a bit. Maxey probably has to get slept on a bit. Funds. I like the slate. It's just not good for players you want to roster. Because there are some slates where you build lineups and you're like, I love everything that I'm putting together. Sometimes it all just looks good and works out. That ain't today. It's not. When you're getting Bub Carrington and Chris Middleton at 30% owned out of the jump, it's not going to be fun. When you're getting 20% ownership to the backup center for the Wizards, you know it's going to be a weird day. And that is where we stand right now. And there are parts of this where it's like, I don't know what they're going to do. For example, the Golden State Warriors. If you just look at the box score from the last Warriors game, you probably think that game went differently than it did. Like, if you look at it, you're like, oh, they played Kuminga, and Buddy Hield is going to be the guy taking over for Jimmy Butler. And I'm going to have to hit you with the Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friends. That ain't really what happened. Now, if we're lucky, the PPP Stats API will actually load these teams, which is not happening for me, and it's kind of annoying. Because I want to point out a rotation. All right, well, I guess I can't do that. So popcorn machine down, at least for right now. Maybe we'll get into it later. I want to point this out because I think it's important. That's not the right one. That is. Okay. So, Monday's game, or Tuesday, whatever day they played. Monday's game. Gary Payton, Brandon Pajemski. First two dudes off the bench. Fuck, this isn't the right one, is it? Fine, I got it myself. I do have my own now. Good. All right, Gary Payton, first guy off the bench. Plays one first half rotation and then closes the second quarter. But he plays 7 minutes. Cool. Second guy off the bench is Guy Santos. Now, he plays a couple rotations in the first half. Plays 1 4-minute rotation at the beginning of the third, but at that point, the game is cooked. Melton, next guy off the bench. Gets the double rotations in the first half. Trace Jackson Davis played in the first half, but we didn't have Al Horford. So I think Al Horford just takes the Trace Jackson Davis spot. Will Richard, who I expected to start, did get those rotations in the first half. So did Buddy Hield, but barely. Buddy Hield played 5 minutes in the first half. Jonathan Kuminga played 4.5 minutes in the first half. Hield and Kuminga were the last two dudes out there. Now, if you look at what happened, the game is an absolute ass beating. And then you got the real minutes out of these guys. So Buddy Hield played 19 minutes, scored 25 real points, but he only played 5 of those 19 minutes when the game mattered in any way. Similarly, Jonathan Kuminga scored 20 real points, played 21 minutes, but he only played 4.5 real minutes. And that's where it gets really tough, because do they look at this and think, well, shit, Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga actually got something done, even if the game was cooked? Should we go to these guys a bit more? Or do we look at it from a rotation standpoint and think, well, they went to Gary Payton, Guy Santos, DeAnthony Melton, Al Horford, and Will Richard first, before we ever go to Hield and Kuminga? This is a death sentence. If I'm looking at this, the only guy you don't feel bad about is Steph. Or I guess Draymond. But none of that's going to feel good. And if you get a Warriors bench guy correct, good for you. Because I don't know how you figure out which one it is. It's not a good time. I mean, they got smacked right out of the gate. Steph played 8.5 minutes. They were down 14 immediately. By the way, new rotation tool, so sick. There's a good example. I want to show the fouls. There you go. All right, so that Quinton Post rotation lasted for 4 minutes, plus 12 in the rotation. They cut the lead from down 26 to down 14. He had a foul in this stint. He has 2 fouls overall by the end of it. And in that rotation, he played 4 minutes and 9 seconds with Melton, Richard, Heald, Kuminga. Yeah, we're starting to get the goods. Who needs popcorn machine when you can build it yourself and make it better? Steph Curry played with 8 separate guys in his first rotation, played 8 minutes, 38 seconds. As many as 6 minutes and 23 seconds with Draymond and Moody. As light as 2 minutes and 15 seconds with DeAnthony Melton, Trace Jackson Davis. Don't worry, folks. We're building out the goods here. It's exciting. It's exciting. Oh, Steven, I like that. Josh Corn Machine. That's good. That's good. I'll rename that right now. That'd be fun. Okay, let's take a look at whoever is showing up as my top plays so far. Obviously, very subject to change, and you saw some of these names in the ownership table. Trey Johnson at the top for me right now. That probably won't stay there, but cheap MPE gets enough minutes. Not a bad per minute, dude. Not surprised to see it. We saw Castle getting a bunch of ownership. You see him at number 2. We saw Middleton getting a bunch of ownership. We see him at number 3. Wemby at the top of the ownership board. He's in at number 8. I typically don't have pay up options break free like that from an ownership perspective. I tend to be a little bit flatter when I look at it. Julius Randle sneaking in there against the Bulls, I like. Dylan Harper, solid value. I am quite confident. I am way more interested in De'Aaron Fox than most others. I think it's really scary to see Keontae George be in my top 10 to start the day, because he's either an amazing play that I want to get to that it seems like other people won't get to as much, or he's going to end up getting ruled out, and a guy that I like quite a bit is going to turn into like Walter Clayton Jr., which didn't go well last time, but might look a little bit better if Keontae George happens to be out. Draymond, as we mentioned, was getting a decent chunk of ownership. He is showing up at number 7 for me. But as I look at the pay-ups, assuming Paul George is in, it makes it very difficult to want to go to Tyrese Maxey at the top, especially in a matchup against the Rockets, when you can just play Jamal Murray in a matchup against the Wizards. When you're comparing centers, it's basically Wemby versus Embiid. Wemby is $500 more expensive and obviously a better player. Wemby also gets to face the Utah Jazz while Embiid gets the Rockets. Again, not great. So like that stuff stands out. I want to pay very close attention to Anthony Edwards' ownership today. By the way, if you guys paid attention yesterday, I hope you got Jaylen Brown. Anthony Edwards, to me, is probably my Jaylen Brown for today. Feels like he's going to get slept on because you have that point guard conversation at the top. You've got this center conversation here. And then you get Anthony Edwards against the Bulls, potentially with Giddey back, which would be awesome. As I'm seeing, and how owned was he? $19. Okay, so neutral to Murray, half of Wemby. All right, not as sneaky as I thought, but still a guy that I'd probably go. I'd be looking to be a little bit heavy on given the matchup. Like, it's tough to ever prioritize Steph. Honestly, it feels like he never has an outlier game. But $8,900 shooting guard small forward Kevin Durant seems kind of interesting to me. That's another guy that's probably going to get slept on. My guess is he's probably 10% owned. Yeah, 9% owned. KD fits that bill too. Travis, you're right that people are going to be off Maxey, but it's not for why you think it is. If Steph had Shea's whistle, he would be crazy every night. I like going down these rabbit holes. Because I assume I'm about to be aggressively correct here. But we'll find out. There's Steph Curry's shot attempts at the rim for his career. There's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You want to know why Steph Curry doesn't get the same whistle as SGA? Because Steph Curry doesn't go anywhere near a place where he's going to get fouled. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's taking 5.5 more shots at the rim than Steph Curry. That's why Steph doesn't have that whistle. He doesn't play like that. There's basically never been a time, and for obvious reasons, let's be very clear, this isn't a knock on Steph Curry. He should shoot from 35 feet out because no one can guard him, but that's not his play style. Not his play style. Hard to get a good whistle when you don't put yourself in situations to get the advantages of said whistle. All right, folks. About a half hour in. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel. Notification bell. All that other good stuff. And as I typically do, you guys need to sign up at Stokastic. Here's how simple it is. There is a link in the description of this video. That link takes you to the page that I have on the screen right now. If you sign up through one of our partners, you can get a month of Sims for free. And you can sign up for more than one partner and get more than 1 month. Again, this is what you see. The first thing on the top of the screen are the 4 things that you need to do. We put it right in front of your face. Pick a promo from the list below. You gotta click that link. Sign up, make a deposit, place a bet. Once you're signed up and you do that and that bet settles, send that email to support@stokastic.com and you get a free month. And if you signed up for DraftKings, Underdog, Sleeper, and Onyx, then you are going to get 4 months of whichever Sims you're looking for. You want 2 months of NBA, a month of PGA, a month of MMA. You can do that if you want to. And it's all right here at your fingertips if you want to get in and not pay us anything. Just imagine you do this today. You will not be paying Stokastic.com until the end of February. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So do it. Again, link in the description. And this one helps me out a ton. I love when you guys go and do this, because I want to bring you guys into the ecosystem, use the simulation tools that I share throughout all of this show, the data hub, the props tool, the single lineup sim, the regular sims, the post-contest sims. You get all of it for a month. And on slates where you need late swaps, I'm telling you guys, there is no better setup for you than using the Stokastic Sims. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best edge you're going to find anywhere. I promise you it's bigger than whatever you think you did when you built the lineup to start. So do that. Link in the description. Alrighty. Let's hop into the props tool, see if anything stands out to start the day. Might help if I actually log myself in. not what I wanted. All right, let's go 80-20 market and see what, if anything's standing out. If there's anything that catches my eye to start the day. Okay. That one's a little tough. Tough to go to Keyshawn George. I mean, the Buddy Hield one is tough. If you think they're going to play Buddy Hield the same way they did last time, then you should like Buddy Hield's unders. If you think they're going to reward him from scoring during a blowout, then you shouldn't. I certainly don't mind this under 5.5 assists on De'Aaron Fox. I don't really care too much about that Luke Cornett Q tag with regards to that one. So to me, that just looks like a pretty good line. I'd be apprehensive of Vooch. I certainly don't have an issue taking any of these next couple, whether that's KD under points at 23.5, whether that's Julius Randle under rebounds and assists, Luka under points, Rui under points. All of those don't really have any news that we're waiting on or worried about. But again, new tool, as you can see. Well, you can't see it because I have the screen too high. As you can see at the top, it's got the beta tag. We're still working on this one a little bit, but pick your individual games if you want to. It'll all filter down if you're looking to find specific bets for specific times. It's using a blend of our true odds that have been on OddsShopper for 2-3 years, whatever, and then our projections as well. You can customize how much you want to use of each of those things if you want to. Eventually, you'll be able to upload your own and then some. You can filter this down by specific stats, the amount of EV you're looking for. You can filter this down by guys that are only expected to play a certain amount of minutes. Maybe you don't want to worry about these bench guys, so you set the minimum to 25. Now that's just going to be the guys that are in our model projected for 25 minutes. So you could really sort this through. And again, we're adding additional features every single day. This one's growing right now. This is the active project. So if it's interesting to you, get ready. It's going to look a lot better as the days go by. I'm trying to think about what else we could touch on here for today. We have so little value that it's nuts. Like Trey Johnson's a decent value at 4,500, point guard, shooting guard, gets real minutes. After that, like it's Middleton, it's like Luke Cornett, who's questionable and a backup. You got Dylan Harper, but like Quentin Post at 4,100 playing 19 minutes as a center is like kind of a decent value. I mean, I only have one guy projected north of 6x. I only have 4 total people projected north of 5.5x. We don't have any value today so far. And that will be the biggest piece of this slate. How much can we unlock at low dollar numbers that help us get to Jamal Murray, Wemby, Ant, Şengün, Embiid? Because that's going to be the big one. Because these guys aren't good values. Wemby is, and then everybody else in this list is like a 5x dude. It's a tough slate. I didn't look at my tiers yet, but 3 top tier plays for me out of the gate: Castle, Middleton, Trey Johnson. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 dudes in my second tier. So we'll say I've got a 16-person core. The 3 I mentioned, then Murray, Wemby, Embiid, Randall, Keontae George, De'Aaron Fox, Aaron Gordon, Alex Sarr, who I don't think I've mentioned, Keyshawn George, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Spencer Jones, and Dylan Harper. Oddly enough, Anthony Edwards in the next list, but we'll see where that ends up by the time we get there. I'm a bit bigger of a fan up for him than what that current optimal shows. Steven, your guess is as good as mine for that one. I agree. Said with no Jalen, with no Jalen Brown, with no Jimmy Butler, I wonder how Golden State will approach the rest of the season. They have no postseason hopes. And Curry is 37. Yeah, it's tricky because they were geared up to have a 2-year run. All these dudes' contracts end next year. So my assumption is they don't do anything in season because it's usually hard, but I would not be surprised at all to see wholesale Golden State Warriors changes. Because they have essentially no money on their books after next season. Steph free agent, Butler free agent, Draymond free agent, obviously Kuminga gone, Horford not under contract. The only guy that is officially under contract for that season is Moses Moody at $13 million. I mean, technically Buddy Hield can be. He's got a non-guarantee and a player option. I would not expect him to play that contract out. But like, if you're Golden State, what can you get for Draymond? What can you get for Steph? Now, obviously, for the Steph one, let me be very clear here. This is a Steph Curry decision. If Steph Curry wants to go, he goes. If Steph Curry wants to stay, he stays. That's just how it is. There's like the Warriors don't make this decision. That will go very poorly for them. But if Steph's like, yeah, man, I don't want to, it's either fucking retire or get out of here because you're never going to win anything. They also have a much more tradable output once you get to July. But yeah, what do these guys look like next year? There's no telling. There's no telling. They could clear $100 million off of their books if they wanted to. The problem is I just don't know where these guys would want to go. I mean, like, Steph Curry makes $62.5 million next year. Now, to be clear, he'll deserve it. Jimmy Butler will make 57. He won't. Steph is a loyal dude. He's staying. Yeah, but like, for what? So, like, you think he's going to sign an extension? What's that number? How long is that? Now, don't get me wrong. They would, if Steph's like, yeah, I'll take 3 for 100 or something to tack it on. Yeah, like, look, it's all up to Steph. Does he want to try to win another NBA title? That's what this question comes down to. If Steph Curry wants to try to win another NBA title, the only way he can do that is if he doesn't play for the Golden State Warriors. That's up to him. Like, I'm not even going to begin to guess. Off topic, who's the most improved player, Keontae or Denny? I would assume Denny in my mind, but I haven't really looked. It's not an award I pay attention to. That's a fake award. That sixth man, they could both fuck off. They're fake. Who would want to deal with Draymond? I don't know. People that want to win. Steph to the Rocket. He makes too much money. He's also not guaranteed another title if he leaves. No, but the chances will be a lot higher than the guaranteed 0 that it is moving forward. There are plenty of teams that could take Steph and become legitimate title threats in the next year and a half. Like Brunson and Hart for Curry and Post. No. You can't tell me that you could move him somewhere and it would look great. It's a shame Detroit's Detroit. I'd give anything to get Steph to the Pistons for like the next 2 years, but that's going to be impossible. I just don't know where he lands. And Steph to the Celtics. He makes too much money. If Steph ends his career with more rings than LeBron, does that diminish LeBron's legacy? No. Only to people who don't know how to talk about sports. Otherwise, you're good. I want to get Draymond to Boston. That's my move right now. That's the one I've got my eye on this one in the worst way. Nobody's going to like this. I get it. But if we're getting Tatum back, can we just do something like this? I mean, isn't that exactly what they need right now? Somebody that can actually defend, costs the same amount of money. I'm just saying. A deal like this would make me think that Boston's going to be playing in the finals. Just saying. Do I think that's happening? Nope. But I like it. I think Steph would look good with Ant. How does he get there? He makes $60 million. We can't turn salaries off. This isn't 2K. How are you getting $60 million back to the Warriors? It's hard. It's very hard. Money tough, man. When these guys are making $60 million, you can't make that contract be anything else next year. It's 60. That's tough to move around. How much does Rudy make? Like 30, I think. Something in the 30 range. 36. Rudy and Dante. You need 15 more million on top of that one, Einsteinium. Rudy and Dante DiVincenzo right now make 47. I'm telling you, man, it's tough to move Steph. That's a big bag. It's hard to do it without moving something else. All you guys are trying to do is make the Towns trade happen again the worst way. You got to build lineups. You got to build teams differently now. They're not better if they get rid of Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Also, again, not enough money. You're closer to having it to be Gobert and Randle than anything else. That one's tough. Look, $60 million is a fuck ton of money, man. Makes it tough to get off of that kind of stuff. All right, let me hit you guys with the schedule for the rest of the day. Can Milwaukee do it? Look, anybody can do it now. Again, no matter how stupid I think a trade is, if Luka Doncic can get traded to the Lakers, all trades are possible. However, it does feel incredibly unlikely. Oh, that is not what I thought the schedule was going to be. So here we go, folks. Schedule for today. I am obviously on the strategy show right now. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel notification bell. 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, NHL strategy show. Get that hockey. And then finally, no deeper dive today. Live before lock only. 6 to 7, me and Eric Lindquist. And we are going to have some damn fun tonight. We're going to hand out White of the Nights. We're going to hand out nukes. Maybe I'll create some new gimmick as well. But Eric and I will take you guys all the way up until 7. We'll be kicking that one off starting at 6 p.m. Do you guys have anything else you want to see before I get out of here? We still got the prop screen up. just in case anybody wanted to take a look at that. Took a lap through the slate. We looked at the pay-ups. We looked at the lack of value for today. Is there anything else you guys want to see before I get on out of here? I got to keep working on Wowie. Got to keep working on the rotations tool. We got plenty of things that we need to get on your fingertips. Not seeing anything, chat. And if Prince is going to be the only person dropping stuff in here, then I know it's time to go. I think we'll have a fun slate tonight. I think it's going to be kind of hard. That's what we're looking for. If we're lucky, Utah will cause enough chaos for us on the DraftKings side to get us a little bit of extra loot. That's going to do it, folks. I'm going to go make a coffee, and I'm going to sit back down and break this slate down in full. X out Golden State tonight? No. X out some of Golden State? Probably. Don't ever X out Steph Curry. Because that dude can make 12 threes in a night. I know he hasn't done that, but he can. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Good luck. Peace out. Sign up at Stokastic. Link in the description. Free month. Very simple. Follow the instructions.